Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, can you now pick up from where you stopped? Thank you.
Okay, so I was talking about women who hide behind the impression that they have a career.
Yeah.
Truth is, a lot of women are jobless, and so they sit back at home and give an impression that they're taking care of the kids. So I'm wondering, what sort of career is taking care of the kids? Where what
Job.
section
Yeah.
of career of a career, would you section taking care of kids? I also know of women who, while at home in Nigeria, for example, they create opportunities, where they make food and sell pots of soup to people. And a lot of them are able to do jobs from home. They have small home salon. A lot of them can actually help do logistics. Basic stuff that they don't need to leave their home. And while they're taking care of the kids, they can get these things done. Especially cooking. A lot of them like to cook. And so, for those of us that are manchelors, I don't want to use the word bachelors anymore. For those of us that are manchelors, find them on Instagram and always order from different people who have food sale, and as our way also of encouraging them. But you also find cultures in Nigeria. I'm an Igbo man from the eastern part of Nigeria. Now, a lot of Igbo men don't want their wives to work because they have the money to take care of them. So the Igbo man marries the woman, and he says it straight to the family and say, "Look, I don't want my wife to work. I have enough money to take care of my wife. All she needs to do is sit in the house and eat my money. That's all I need her to do. Sit in the house, dress well, bear kids for me. Whatever she wants, I'll get it for her, but she doesn't need to work. I don't need her to do any
that
kind
thing
of."
you just said now, don't you think it's a bit of just having control over the woman right now?
Yes, that is the problem, but then a lot of women enjoy it. A lot of women don't see it from that perspective that they are no longer in control. I have friends who are married to very rich people, and then they have everything they want, new cars from time to time, all the vacations, they are jobless. But then when you encourage them to find, something to do, it doesn't work for them, because after all, whatever for them, whatever they want to do is to earn an income. Why would they want to earn an income when they have access to all the money they can spend? So it's on both sides. It's not just on faults from the men. A lot of women also have faults where they would not want to work. And like you said, a lot of women are lazy and hide behind the shadow of saying, "This is what I am. I'm taking care of the home." It's a problem.
Yeah, you're right. Well, in that case, this is something I call the princess syndrome, or a syndrome, or the Snow White effect, of people growing up and saying, "Oh, remember Snow White? She was the princess. And remember this," and blah blah blah. They want to live their life that way. At the end of the day, it's making them hide under the shadow of "I'm looking after the home." I don't want to raise this because I have a topic that we're actually going to be discussing, which has to do with, is it that our parents have an impact in this with bringing our women up? We know in their days it was like that. So the woman looks after the home. That's all she does. Have they actually transferred that to our generation now? Because we are still having some women living that way. What have you got to say about that? Yeah.
What I want to say about that is this: what you have spoken of, that is the life that both of my grandmothers had. Okay, on both sides of my family. Both on my mom's side, I've lost both my grandparents, and on my dad's side, my grandmother's still alive. And what she said was, my grandfather bought her absolutely everything she wanted.
The princess.
Oh my gosh, yes. And the only thing he never bought her was a plane. He gave her absolutely everything. And she stayed at home. They, multiple families. My grandfather had 16 children. So my grandmother was at home, taking care of them, doing what they needed to do, etc. I feel that from my grandmother's point of view, to her says, I had a good life. I had a fantastic husband. He gave me everything that I want. So in her mind, she's like, well, I want something like that for my daughters. I want something like that for my granddaughters. And sometimes it doesn't come from a bad place. It comes from a place whereby, you know, I had a good life staying at home. Why do you not want that? But the fact is sometimes that they don't understand is things have changed. You know, life is not the same. Men are not the same. They're not the way they used to be. Women are not the way they used to be. You know, we realize that we can actually have a say. We can actually do things for ourselves. You know, I am grateful enough. I'm only speaking for myself, to come from a home where both parents are there. You know, I've had that, and I'm one of the few people, because I look around me, a lot of my friends my age do not have that. They come from a single parent home whereby a mom or a father, that does happen also, had to be both parents to take care of them, you know. So from that point of view, they've had to realize that, okay, as a woman, I can make decisions, I can pay for the bills, I can do this, I can do etc, 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 and I can also have a career.
Which means what you're trying to say now, that actually has an effect as well.
Yes.
In the mindsets of the women in question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
I kind of disagree.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree. I think you can compare women, you know, the days of our fathers to now. The women, the days of our fathers had a job, they had a career, they took care of the homes, they managed the farms. You know, I know my grandmother, and you know, a lot of grandmothers in Africa manage the farms. They wake up in the morning, you know, they prepare to go to farms, they ensure that everyone is up, go to farm, they get they come back with firewood, get food ready, they ensure that people eat, just like the way, you know, the lioness will take care of the home. You know, you find the conventional African mother had the responsibility of ensuring that food was on the table. Now, you know, the men were also part of, you know, the farm, and then they funded the process at the farm, and then they also ensured that they found ways to, you know, sell the proceeds, so there was money available. But you realize that women did most of the job. You know, women were able to manage a lot of these situations. These things don't happen these days. Women don't leave the home. Women don't think anymore. Women just think that once there's money, all we need to do is go to the shopping mall and fill up the store with food stuff, and then we can feed the home. That's not, you know, what it should be like. And until women begin to get a proper understanding of what this thing should be like, you know, would have a problem in the nearest future, because I see a lot of women on social media who also believe that they should be dependent on men. Of course, there are a lot of independent women I see on social media trying to earn an income and make a living, you know, but then there's still a lot of women who would depend on men for everything. A woman, I said to my friends, sometimes a woman is coming to visit you and she's instructing you to ensure you pay for the Uber. A woman is coming to visit you and she's asking you to get this done, and
Girl's
get
face.
that done. Yeah. It's sometimes, you know, in as much as you can afford those things, you know, but the respect begins to degenerate when women cannot afford to, you know, afford to manage certain situations themselves.
Yeah, I'm gonna interfere with this. Like we said, even though a woman's got career, there's this thing I think still plays around most women. We say, for instance, a woman that is self-made, she's okay, still has that idea of, I need a man that is well loaded. Then I can be rest assured he can take care of the family. Not because she can't handle things, but because she wants to hide under that comfort to say, my man is in charge. But when the time
comes, a lot of women are selfish.
No, but really, we have most women that line. I don't say, for instance, Gail, she has her own business, she has her organization. I have my own business, for instance. Now, I want to go with a man. I don't think Gail wants to marry a pauper. Neither do I. You want to marry an educated man. I want to marry an educated man. I want a man that can actually stand, and I know if I'm shaking, he can cover me. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from.
I think you're getting. You're not getting my points.
Because of this Uber thing, because women won't say, okay, because of the mindset of how they were raised, that princess syndrome that I'm talking about, they want it to be, oh, I'm not spending my money to go see him. He should pay for it, not maybe because she doesn't have the money, but because she wants him to be the man to take the bills. I think that's what's really happening, especially.
No, I think it's a very poor mentality.
Yes.
Can take care, for example, I can take care of bills that don't. I can take care of a lot of bills beyond paying for Ubers and all that. I can take care of flights. I can take you on a vacation. I've done that. I can take you on a vacation that will cost way beyond that. Very expensive gifts in the car. But then, when you begin to become petty, I know you can cover 7 basic needs, and you become petty and you want me to cover those things. It doesn't make sense. You're just making yourself a laughing stock. You earn. I used to have a girlfriend. I earned a lot of money. I think in 2018, in Nigeria, she was earning about over ₦1 million monthly. In Nigeria, over ₦1 million monthly. And then she would come to my place to visit, and she would expect me to do all the spending from, when she has to make food, I'll provide everything. I'll provide this. I'll even put the fuel that the fuel in the car that brings her to my place, and ensure that I give her, it didn't make sense at a point. And then one day I said to her, look, you're very stingy. You're stingy with your money. You're stingy with every other thing. It doesn't make sense. I would not be comfortable to spend a lot of money on such person, because I know that in a relationship it's give and take. You understand? I have to give you something, and I also have to benefit one way or the other. If you give me the impression that you're small chops, whatever you want this pen, and I have to provide this pen for every little thing you want, I have to be the provider, then I would be in a hurry to walk out of such relationship, because it doesn't make sense to me. Every woman needs to understand the meaning of being independent. It is very important, especially for the African woman. I have been on dates with people in Europe and in a lot of other places, and then they want to take care of the bills. I would insist as a Nigerian guy that no, I should take care of the bills. It gives me a different perception or different impression of that kind of person. But when you get to Africa, the African woman's mentality needs to change. It needs to change. I think the orientation we get for women here is quite different. And then we need a lot of women like you with better understanding of what it means to be independent to start preaching orientation, teaching these women. These are the kind of campaigns we need. Women, and that they can be independent, self-reliant, efficient, and also impact the men. Men would respect them when these things begin to happen from that perspective. But it's a lot of women you see these days, you tell them hi on Instagram, the next thing they send you is a bill.
Yeah.
Say hi to a woman on Instagram. Next thing she sends to you is a bill. She'll send you a bill. You've not started saying it. She starts sending you bills. Oh, my rent is hiring. Oh, my ass is. Oh, no.
You
No,
see,
I'm out of such.
What I'm picking from what you've just said is this. Just correct me if I'm wrong. There's a different thing between being a career woman and a different thing being educated and exposed. You can have a career but not have the right education or exposure to bring this
Exposure.
up.
I think the word is exposure.
You understand?
I think the word is exposure.
So, yeah,
Is
so
exposure.
if a woman does not have that exposure or education as well, she won't meet.
I don't think it's
all
the
this.
education. I think it's the exposure.
Yeah,
Beyond,
the exposure
beyond the
plays a
education,
lot
I think it's the
anyway.
exposure.
Yeah, it plays a whole lot in this thing. So you can be a career woman and you don't have that exposure, understanding of things being shared, and knowing where you should actually stand and show that you are independent. Then you are still not complete.
Yeah.
That's what I see from what you're saying. So in essence, even though you have a career as a woman, it's good to understand all these things that surrounds it for you to stand out. I wanted to take us to benefits of having a career, and you mentioned this. What do you think about this now, Gail? What do you understand? What do you have to say about this with a woman that has a career? From all the things he has mentioned, to wash a whole lot of women. So what do you have to say about this? I've just pinpointed those points. What do you think? Is that what it is really?
The both of you make some really valid points, and from what you said, Michael, I never thought about it that way, because that's not the kind of woman that I am. That's not the kind of woman I was raised to be. It really isn't. And sometimes when I hear things like that, I get shocked. I really do. It really does shock me, because I have had encounters with friends, male friends, who have said that there's some women who did that to them, and I'm like, women like this don't exist, not in this day and age, but apparently they do. So having a career, like I said, it's important in the whole holistic thing of being a woman. So you have your own life, so to speak, away from the home, and then you have your home, you have your husband and your children. It makes you a whole person, you know. It gives you a voice, and with being exposed to other things, being exposed perhaps to other cultures and everything, it definitely makes you you know, a much fuller person with a richer character, with things to say, with stories to share.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you, it makes you very, very important. About those women that you've met, Michael, that send you a bill just to be extra boy, because that should not at all happen. But yes, I have heard stories like that. Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said,
Gail,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you're in my position, when you're an eligible bachelor, you get to meet a lot of such people, all kinds of women, and your women don't show the real selves to women. They show their real selves to men, you know, who approach them or who one way or the other come in contact with them. And so you might not see it from your point of view, especially because you live in the Western world, you don't live in Africa. If you lived in Africa, you'd probably understand a bit of what I'm saying, because it's beyond Nigeria or Congo or Kenya or South Africa. I think most of the women in Africa, you know, have imbibed this culture, you know, of trying to get people to do what they should do ordinarily.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. That being said now, thanks so much for those points. What do you think you can say now to people that will be watching this and probably have those attributes, probably, I would call it a norm or a culture within themselves now? What are the advice you like to give them now to let them understand that these things are wrong? It doesn't make you independent. The fact that you're a career person and can't attend to your immediate needs, things as little as this transportation fares and all that stuff, it still doesn't make you an independent woman. An independent woman goes beyond having a career or standing at the top of one ladder and delegating people, delegating tasks. What really makes you an independent woman is being able to, So what advice have you got to chip in on this? I will start with Gail. I know Mr. Mike is ready to trash all of them. So I'm starting with Gail, please.
Well, as an independent woman, for me, independence at first meant that, you know, making my own money, taking care of myself. But it's also, I'm one of 4 children, Okay, my parents have had 4 children, but I come from a very large family, and I've always been a very caring person. So the part of me being that independent person is knowing that I can take care of me and mine, you know, taking care of the people that I love as well, without, because I've seen so many couple squirrels whereby I've asked my husband for money to take care of my family and he said no, or, you know, she's asking for too much money, blah, 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 etc., etc.
Yeah.
So I've heard that. There's that side. But also being independent means being free to make your own choices. Whilst I agree that when, you know, you're in a couple, you need to come to a certain agreement, but you are still your own person. Your voice matters. You can make your own choices, and perhaps your partner may not be happy with those choices, but hey, that's a discussion that you can have together. But making your own choices, having your own mind, your own thoughts, that's very, very important, because being in a relationship where you are not your own person, you completely lose sense of who you are.
Yeah.
And it's very important to know who you are before, during, and of course at times relationships and after. It's very important to be grounded in the person that you are, knowing what you like, what you don't like, things that you can accept and not accept, your values, etc., etc. So to me, that is the definition of independence. You can be very, very much an independent person, still be in a relationship, still be married, still have children. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's good. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. Now, can we hear from Mike now? What advice have you for, you've experienced it, so yes, there should be more from you.
First of all, we must also realize that not all women who claim to have a career actually have something doing. So jobless people on social media, and then they give you impression that they're doing something.
Please, we are women here. Please, oh.
No,
We
there are a lot of
are
jobless
just saying
men.
these things to our sisters.
There are a lot of jobless. There are a lot of jobless men and women. There are a lot of jobless men and women.
Yes, let's share the joblessness.
So you find a girl, she dresses up, you know, puts on really nice dress, you know, makes herself look like she's going for a major business. She takes a selfie, posts it up on Instagram, and says the day begins. The day begins, you know, new business opportunities, blah, blah, blah. And once she takes the photograph, she takes off her clothes and goes back to bed. She actually has nothing doing, you know? And it becomes a problem when they begin to give wrong statistics of how much they've made and how much impact their businesses are making. It affects the mindset of a generation of other people who are looking at starting small. And so a lot of people are afraid to start small, you know, in business. And that's where you find people trying to grow, you know, jump into things they do not understand. And then the crash and frustration begins to play in, and eventually nobody's making money. I always say to people when I speak to young people, I say, the greatest way to start a business is to start from scratch. And then you watch your business grow gradually until, you know, there's nothing like the joy when you find this thing that you started from nothing, you know, it grows into something. I've got a friend, maybe one of these days you should have her on your show. I knew when she started. I've actually known her from when she was really young, while she was in high school, and you know, when she had gone through a lot of frustration trying to start a business. I knew her when she started buying stuff with $100, and then today she goes to market and buys stuff with $100,000, $200,000. Our business has grown so well. She's buying properties all around Lagos. And I know I can say it authoritatively that the only place she makes money is from that business that she had nurtured to that extent, and it has grown. I can tell you authoritatively that no other person is giving her money to grow her business because she wanted to see this business grow. And that is the kind of person I see, and I appreciate the efforts.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person I see, and I appreciate the effort. Sorry, 1 minute. That she's making Now, there are a lot of other young people who are making efforts, but then it becomes a major problem when women also do not tell themselves the truth. So when you're not doing well, sit back, go back to your drawing board and say, no, I think I am not doing this thing right. What kind of, am I in the right career path? Is this what I should be doing? Or am I doing this because every other person is doing this? Am I selling weave-on and wigs because everyone on social media is saying they're doing it and they're succeeding in this? Am I selling clothes and shoes because everyone on social media says this is working for them? Everyone must not be in the same line of business, especially for women. Women need to understand businesses that align with their gender type. I say that because there are also things that, you know, would be very tedious for a woman to do. It's like asking a woman to carry bricks on her head, and you know, it's nature that make a
Nature
woman
has put
in
a
that.
gap in that, yeah. Mm.
You know, nature did not make the woman to be in that form to carry every bricks and go through that stress. There are a lot of things women need to sit down and say to themselves, "This should work for me," and then women should also learn. What I see on Insta these days, tearing down business by other women. You see a woman who has succeeded. She's built, you know, a beautiful house, is driving nice cars, and you're saying she's a prostitute. Did you follow her to the prostitution? You know, women are also the problem. Women try to pull down women. If a man, if it's different with men. You find a man has been arrested for fraud, and everyone is trying to pull it, and the guy says, "Don't." You find men, even when they know it's wrong, they don't push it straight at the man to say, "Oh, this guy is messed up. Let's bring him down." No, women should. I think most of what you should also try to do is get more women, get information across to more women, especially the kind of women I see on social media.
Encourage togetherness.
Yeah, the Instagram women who's got all the time to tell lies about who they are not. So I think it's high time they begin to tell themselves the truth. They begin to live the truth, and then they begin to empower other women to understand that only the truth can set them free.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much so that, you know,
Yeah.
I don't indict myself at the end of the day.
I just have one thing to add.
Yeah.
Whilst you said a lot of amazing points, which is very true. The one thing that you said, of course, a woman is not built to carry bricks over her head, etc., etc. Fine. However, and that is because I am an advocate. Growing up in, of course, in an African household, I had different ideas of what career I wanted to be. But of course, in an African family, it's either you go to university or you're a failure. So I went to university, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy my career. However, if a woman wants to work in building and build houses and carry bricks on her head in the hot sun, let her, because we live in a, it's true. We live in a society now, in a world whereby you have choice. I think women have choice, and they can do. I mean, if you would have thought, I would have never thought that, you know, let's say 30, well, I was 2 years old, 30 years ago, who would have thought that there would be so many women in the world of business, so many women working in finance, and of course, throughout the whole of the world as well at the moment, actually, you know, engineering, which is predominantly male, you know, building is where a lot of women are going into. So I feel that if a woman wants to do that, let her. And in terms of sisterhood and women sticking together, etc., etc., I completely agree. It's that cattiness, that bitchiness, that putting other women down. It's so draining. It really is. Like that's energy that I do not have. I focus on my business. If the women in my circle are winning, that means I'm closer to winning as well. I will root for them and they will root for me. So I absolutely agree with you on that one.
Yeah, that's actually amazing. We don't have much time, but that point he made about gender has actually separated that for us about women being carrying bricks on their head and all that. It's understandable, but we know we still have women in construction. But I think he is focusing more on that actual manual labor. Hence, the reason why we really don't have a lot of women doing that. In that
I
case,
don't think women should do that.
yeah, women, I
Women should.
personally don't think women should go through that stress anyway to do such. But the
The
women
truth
that go
is,
into that is basically things that come out of poverty. There's no other way to turn. They feel this is the only way forward for them. They end up doing that actual manual labor. That is actually different from people or women being contractors and working in
No,
construction.
no, but I think don't get it twisted. Don't get it
That's
twisted.
different. Yeah.
The women who decide to do those things. I know a few women that I've seen, building their own homes. They bring a few workers, and then you find them carrying these things on their head. The house belongs to them. They're building it. They want to be part of the
They
process.
want to be
They
part
want
of
to.
it.
They
Yeah.
want. Yeah. But
That's way different, really.
what I just said is women are not built in that. They're not modeled in that nature. Women, whether you like it or not, women are more fragile than men, whether you
Of
like it or
course.
not. So
Yeah.
a woman is built. That's why you don't find, no matter how a woman goes to gym, she can never have the kind of muscles men we have. No matter how she goes to gym, it's nature. So nature has
We
not
still
made a
have women
woman.
like that too.
No, I'm telling you, no matter how a woman goes to gym, she can never have the kind of muscles, men would have. No matter how, no matter how she works out, it would never happen. Now, women are not built in that form. They are built to be more fragile and sleek. Women are like cars, they're sleek, they're not to be, they're supposed to be pampered, But then women decide to do these things like Gail had said, it's good luck to them, but I'm not one to encourage such career direction.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. We've actually come to the end of this talk show. You guys have got wonderful, wonderful, valid points. Before we go, we just have 6 minutes, less than 6 minutes left. Can we just you can just take 2 minutes each to just shed more light on like the importance of actually having a career as a woman. I'm gonna go with Gail first. You just have 2 minutes. Just share why it's really important for a woman to have a career. Please, thank you.
well, I'm going to be as quick as I can, but
Yeah.
a woman, first of all, when she has education, it helps the family to stay out of poverty. There is less, I think the children die less at birth, there's less hunger in the home. So it's holistic, it's important for the whole family. As a personal opinion, having a career in marketing, it's ever so fulfilling. I am a really, really happy, joyous person. And when I enjoy what I do, whether I'm stressed, there's always something that I can do for myself. And then when I come home, there's something that I can do for the home. So I feel like having those two aspects of myself are very important for me. So that, in a nutshell, is really why it's important for a woman to have a career. And also, I need to add that, it is important to have a career that you love, a career that is important to you, a career that makes you happy. Unfortunately, that's not the life that our parents had. They had to do what they had to do, and a lot of the times they didn't love what they did, but they made that sacrifice for us, for women like us to go in there, have the life that they want, and reach for the stars, basically. So I'd say go for it.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's really awesome. Can we hear from you now, Mark? Just few points, last points to round this up. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I would take us back to the power of women, Chiamanda Adichie, Lupita Nyong'o, the likes of Amina Mohammed, the likes of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, um, the likes of Ellen Sirleaf Johnson, Wanda, Joyce Wanda, Dlamini Zuma, and all these wonderful women who have given rights to women to speak, in pride. Um, these are the kind of women I think should be emulated. And, of course, women who should be role models to today's women. Of course, there are a lot of other younger women, the likes of Mo Abudu, of Ebony Life TV, who is one of the most important women in the African film industry. Recently, she has signed a major deal, one of the first of its kind from Africa, with Netflix, a major distribution platform that every filmmaker wants to be part of. And so when I look at these women, I see hope, I see prosperity, I see a future devoid of certain ills that foul society. I see a future devoid of an environment where women will be deprived of proper education, like it is in the northern part of Nigeria. There's a lot of things going on right now, and then a lot of women have taken it upon themselves to ensure they become the voice of women globally. And for us in Africa, it is high time we find more women educating themselves and choosing a career path that would flourish, so that other people can be, other people can be empowered in that line. I want to see more women in politics in Africa. I want to see more countries act like Rwanda. Rwanda has women in some of the most important positions. The Rwanda Development Board has a woman running the board, which is actually the board that powers. It's more like the engine room of the country, so it's run by a woman. I want to see more countries like that. I want to see countries like Kenya create policies that would favor the woman. I want to see South Africa. I want to see, especially Nigeria, at least have a vice president who is a woman. These things would go a lot of way. These things will go a lot of way. These things will go a lot of way into balancing the equation to ensure that
we don't actually even have much time anymore.
I know. So this thing will go a lot of way to balancing the equation to ensure that gender equality is sustainable for Africa and for world peace.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Those were awesome points. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate this talk show. Personally, I actually say yes, it's good for a woman to have a career. Apart from everything you guys have mentioned so far, it actually builds our confidence. That is one big thing that most women lack. So having that confidence makes it all work well for every woman in our society. So thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate you all. It's been a pleasure. It's been wonderful. Thank you, Gail. And thank you so much, Mike. Yeah, we'll talk much later. All right. Thank you so much, guys. See ya. Thank you. God bless you.